and have it for to listen to later. All right, for those who don't know me, my name is Randy Webb, Chairman inside Markets Live. I enjoy trading. Man, we have literally perfected a strategy. Wonder if there was a way that you could not fail. Now, I know I can't give you any guarantees, but I'll tell you over the past 6 weeks, we have not taken a loss whatsoever. So good morning, everybody. What's going on, Zoe? What's going on, Miss Sonia Davy out of Brooklyn? Welcome. Let me see if I tell you this. Jumped out of the car with GU. I'll tell you there is news coming up at 9 o'clock for the US dollar, so we will watch it. This is FOMC week, which means the market is just going to move. So we're all good, but we're going to move with caution, and we're going to move the right way. So I see folks asking to look at some trades. So we're going to look at some opportunities to go into some trades first, and then I'll have some questions afterwards. So I see we got Vegas in the building. What's going on? What's up, Miss Rochelle? What's going on, Flavia? What's going on, Adrian? Sharminsky. Some of you guys were on the London session with me. Good morning. What's up, Selena? What's going on, Marjorie? Andre out of Memphis. Got Detroit in the building. What's going on, Queen? What's up, Mr. Miguel out of Puerto Rico? What's going on, Jackie, Jenna, Cleveland in the building? What's up, Clyde? So welcome, everybody. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right, so here's what we do. If you're brand new to the call, to get on this session, you have to have at least got the web analyzer. So let's talk about how to utilize your product, folks, and make it work for you. First of all, if you have the web analyzer, when you open it up, you have to select a strategy. So go down to the bottom left here. Click on, yours going to say select template. Make sure you go find Dr. Kathy Kirkland ECC 11 strategy, okay? Then you're going to turn on the cha-ching sounds, give you that cha-ching alert, letting you know there's some opportunities there. Save mobile, save settings, and then you'll be set to go. And then your chart is going to look exactly like mine. Okay, so then we got to change what the Ichimoku cloud settings are. Default is going to be 9, 26, 52. We need to change that to 6, 13, 26, and 13. So you go to the gear right here. Okay, you're going to go change the input 6, 13, 26, 13. Change your style. Conversion line is going to be red. Baseline is going to be blue. Everything else remains the same. Make sure you set as default, push OK, and then you're set to go far as that part. Off to the left here, this is when you have major news. It lets you know what news is coming up here, which I'm going to show you another way to get it as well too. Trade ideas that are thrown by multiple traders that are on here, so you can check these out and see what other traders are doing. They're educators inside of our company, so that's where you get notes from. All right, and then any add-ons that you may have, you make sure that if you have I'll tell you, Dr. Kathy Kirkland, she does the London payout. So if you're interested in getting signals through the London payout, as far as the indexes, Dr. K, of course, always killing the game there. So you can have to add on there for $7. All right, down at the bottom here, it's going to give us our different type of trades that we want to do. So Forex, cryptocurrency, which is what I'm going to teach you today, goes perfectly in the cryptocurrency space. Or your indexes. So you can trade the indexes with ECC 11. So you have your Japan 225, your France 40, your US 30, and your German 30 there. And then you have your metals and gold, okay, and platinum. All right. So we're going to be trading Forex today, folks. So we're going to jump right into the session. There is I used to say 4 confirmations. I've just added 5 confirmations because we're gonna put the currency strength meter in there so that you don't forget it. It's a big part of our equation. So some of you already know the confirmation. So here's what we're gonna do. When we look at an opportunity, the first thing we look at is the trend. So for those, I want you to write down trend, or better yet, I've already dropped it in the Breakfast Club chat. So just go to the top. You're going to go to Files, and then you're going to find the High Probability Confirmation Checklist for the Web Analyzer. If you follow that checklist, folks, I promise you, you will close out a majority of your trades, if not all of them, in the blue every single time. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this off. Let's look at GBP USD, okay? If these confirmations don't match up, we go to the next one. The great thing about the cloud, it's a quick glance indicator. I want you to know this. Every line, the cloud, everything about this indicator is important, right? From the cloud, from these green lines, which we call the lead 1, or you may hear them call SQL span A, from your lead 2, which is called your SQL span B. These are all considered resistance and support lines. So no matter, anytime price gets close, it's either going to reject off or break through. Same thing for your red and blue lines. This is called your conversion line, which is the Tankinson, okay? This is called your baseline, which is called the Kingensen. Right, these act as resistance points too. As you can see, price pull back, retest, retest, right? So it's acting as a zone. So these are moving support and resistance lines. That's why I love this. You don't have to draw lines on this. Your money line or your Chico span is going to be used as market structure. You're going to be able to see your previous highs and your previous lows. So we place lines there just like that, so you know what needs to be broke before you can either enter a trade or for it to break through. All right, so now let's jump into the checklist. Now I do have other recordings, and I'll answer any of your questions after this. Wow, we have over 300 some folks on this call. It's powerful. All right, so GBP USD, the first thing we're going to do is look at the M15 chart, okay? So it's calling for a sell. I'm going to tell you right now, we automatically get rid of this, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. I do have some other experience where I understand flag formation, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Now, being brand new, don't worry about this. You will get this in the academy, folks, when I'm talking about flag formations. But we'll just look at this. What I require on here, our first indicator of confirmation. We want to ensure that our price is below the cloud on all the charts when it comes to a sale, okay? Below the charts on all for M15, H1, H4 day chart. If it's not, then we're not even look at the trade. But I'm just going to take a look at this one for a later time. I want you to write it down. All right, so we look at the M15. This is a flag, so a little bit over. I'm going to show you how this is going to break out. H1, all right, shows it as well. All right, below the cloud here. H4, all right, below the cloud, and then we look at our day chart. Now, this is where most people don't look. The day chart is very important, okay? Day chart, below the cloud, great. So for the most part, this almost meets our criteria. So I'm gonna just give you guys a, you know, I still, for brand new folks, never trade when you have it above the cloud, because this may pull back some more. So what this checklist prevents is pullback. Our goal is to keep you in a minimal pullback as possible. Okay, that's the goal here. So if you follow the checklist, most likely you'll be in a minimal pullback. You won't be in as much. All right, but what I will show you is this is what we expect, and we'll set some alerts for this. We're going to be looking for the breakout. Okay, the breakout's going to happen here, and then it will be below the cloud. Once that happens, we get a good push down. Let's see if we can make 10 pips. Absolutely. So as soon as we get this bust out of the cloud here, we'll go in. We're probably going to go in for the sell here. Now, however, this is GBP USD, so news is happening at 9, so we'll think about this one. But let me go ahead and put an alert. All right, so so we will be looking at this. Let's see where it's telling us the entry point is. So 700. So it's calling it up here. Like I said, this is not a high probability trade, so we're not going to do this one just yet. We're going to wait for it to pop through the cloud to give you the high probability. But the entry point that is giving off the web analyzers, it's 700. So right there, right? So it is acting as a resistance point. So what you'll be looking for is that's off of this place here. Wait for it to reject off, and then we look for it to push down here. So we're going to go to our next trade, and we'll come back to that one at a later time. I got an alert set for it. All right, EJ is calling for a buy. Once again, first thing, we look at the trend. Quick confirmations. Look at the 15. We look for it to be above the cloud. Nope. We go to the next one. Okay. Let's look at EUR AUD. I already know what this one is, but I'll look at it for you. We're waiting for this one to pop on the day chart. All right, so we look at the M15. Okay. Above the cloud looks great. Look at the H1 above the cloud. Great. We look at the H4 above the cloud. Great. And then we look at the day chart, not above the cloud yet. Now here's what I want you to see. Could you take this trade if you wanted to? Yes, but you would be taking a risk, because here's where I'm going to talk about structure. Okay? Whether you know it or not, if you've been on with me at this session, you don't know it, but you've been learning market structure, right? And this is why our trades have been going so well. Okay, so market structure on this is still a downtrend, right? It doesn't look pretty, but it's still a downtrend. Why? Because this is our high, this is our low, this is our lower high, this is our lower low, this is still our lower high. Why? Because it's still lower than this high here. Now, once it breaks structure, which is coincidentally, it coincides with what? The lead 2, or what we call sequel span B. So when I say every portion of the cloud is a resistance area or support area, this is powerful. So it may come up to this point, and if it rejects off of this point, guess what? It's going to still drop down. So you don't want to get caught in a trade like this. So to get high probability, you want to make sure structure is broken here. Once it breaks, it's going to come back and retest this, and then we can take it up to this place here. Okay, so and I'm teaching you about some long-term stuff. We're going to scalp, get 10 pips, but know that when we look at this money line, we look left. Once it breaks this part here, we can expect it's going to continue up to this point. So all we're looking for, it break this point, retest this line here, and then guess what? We go up for another, this looks like over 100 some pips here. All right, so that's how you read this. Very simple. So what is it saying? Let's go ahead and put the entry that is suggesting here. Now I know I gave you guys a trade before with EuroCAD. Look at this one more time. You guys are not playing this morning. This is the most folks we've ever had on this call. We got basically 400 folks on this trading session right now. Powerful. All right, so let's call an entry right there, right? Now, like I said, this is not a high probability trade, okay? So I do want to stick to our high probability trades, but however, let's see, could we get 10 pips out of it? We could. So, but we're gonna look for some more first. We're not gonna settle at that one just yet. So we got EURAUD, EuroCAD. Let's take a look. And folks, if you have questions, I like to save them for the end here. So make sure you put them in the Q&A session, and I'll make sure I get to your question. All right, automatically looking at EuroCAD, we throw it out the door, all right, because it's below the cloud on this one. Actually, that's the 15. Let me go to the 15. That's the 5 minute. Let me go to the 15. All right, above the cloud, let's look at the 1 hour. Above the cloud, let's look at the 4 hour. And folks, I'm going pretty fast, and I want to get us some opportunities first, and then we'll go into a little bit more training. All right, below the cloud. Okay. GU. So as you know, volume probably is slowing up right now as there is news. Most every trader knows that there's news happening in 45 minutes. So you can see really the market is slowing down. Here's what I love about the web analyzer. And here's what you have to know. You know, anytime that I force a trade outside of the web analyzer, you know, I could trade, right? But anytime that I do a trade outside of the web analyzer, there will be some portion of a pullback because sometimes there's volume missing. What the web analyzer does for us is it grabs out momentum and volume based around contracts, buy and sells, the buyers and sellers in the market. So when there's not anything coming up on here, it's just letting you know there's no volume in the market right now. So it might not be a good idea to trade. So just know that when you're looking at the web analyzer. So that's what I love about it. It is an indication of how much volume is moving in the market as well too. And it gives you an absolute support and resistance line that we use for our entry point based off the retest, whether it bounces off or whether it rejects off. So I'm still a lot of USD. Like I said, we're not gonna go hard in USD. We're gonna see what it's gonna do because I don't want to get us caught in a trade. To tell you the truth, you know, I really don't. I haven't been watching it like that. It's giving us an indication that it's a positive thing. So that means anything, if US is in front, it can shift up, but anything can happen here, folks, with how our markets are moving right now. So, you know, me personally, I don't like to really execute trades prior to. Now, if we're in a trade, I don't worry about it because we do trade with structure. So as long as if we find a trade that meets the criteria, of course, we can trade it. All right, so that doesn't meet. Let me take this back to AUDJPY. I do know that one's going to drop some more. Let's see if we can catch something here. All right, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to roll through the checklist for you for all the new folks on here. So when you decide to use this on your own, it'll be a very simple process. All right, so here's how this goes. So the first thing we look for is we look for the trend, which I know the only thing that's in the cloud right now is this one right here. But M15, okay, below the chart. H1, below the cloud. H4, below the cloud, and we look at the day chart below the cloud. Now here's a little extra that I look at. You see this green line here? We call this the lagging span, right? It's like market structure, okay? Basically, it's just your candles, but I'm gonna just show you an easy way to use it. So when you're looking at this, you're always just gonna look left to find your previous low or your previous high. So right now, because it's facing down, we're gonna look to the left. Boom, we find this. I can see when price hits this point, because price pretty much repeats itself. So what we're looking here is when price hits this point, you see this little hook right here? It's going to pull back. So that's at 571. And then price went after that pullback there, price should drop around here, and then we get our big pullback. So this is the potential that we're looking at. Now we go back to our chart. Okay, we go to our M15. Okay. Now obviously because that red line is above the blue, we're not going to enter yet. We want the red line to be below the blue before we make entry. However, that crossover will probably happen. Remember, when price is below, it always acts as a resistance point. So right now, the Tangsen and Dickinson are resistance, which is great. And this is an entry point. And I'll tell you, this is the entry point that was given by the web analyzer as well, too. I just knew the number from here has been consolidating for a little bit. Okay. So step one, we look at the trend. Okay, we look at all the charts, M15 through day chart. Step two, we go find our entry point based off what the web analyzer gives us. Let me go find it for you so you can see it. Where'd it go? There you go. 74716. Okay, so that's for the entry that it called. So we just click on here. Like I said, it's been consolidating for a little bit. We were in the London session, caught some pips. So we go here. What was it? 74716, which we're already there. Boom. So that's our support and resistance line. Like I said, it gives you that absolute support and resistance. So what we need, if we're selling, we need price to be below the line. If we're buying, we need price to be above the line. Okay. So that we set our support and resistance area. Our MRAs are our clouds. So when we go look at the M15 to the day chart, we have 4 layers of protection when it comes to resistance when we go into the sell. So even if we get caught in a pullback, we have places where if price hits here, most likely will reject off, or it might reject off on the 1 hour. So that's why we trade this way. We're trading with the trend. All right, so we got step 2 done. Step 3, we want to ensure that we enter off of the pullback or the correction or the flag, or however you want to call it. They're all the same. This is the correction, okay? This is the correction. This is the pullback. That's what this is right here. So we're on the pullback. And then also what we're looking for are 2 to 3 retests off of our support and resistance line. What we need this to be is resistance. Now I like to enter off my 5-minute. So we're going to take this to the 5 minutes to look a little closer. So what we need is a retest off of this entry point right here. So 1, and obviously it went back above. So right now it's actually support. We need this to break through. And here's what's going to happen because it's in the cloud on the 5-minute. This is going to break through. We don't enter when it breaks through. We're going to wait for it to pull back up, retest, right? That's going to be 1 on your 5-minute. It may do it again, retest, boom. And then the 4th step, 4th confirmation, price starts moving in the direction that we want to trade in. So we're looking to sell, so we need a bearish candle. As soon as we get that bearish candle, We go to step 5 and we ensure that it makes sense. We click on our currency strength. All right. AUD is weaker than JPY. This checks. Boom. We will be able to execute this trade. So the only thing we're waiting for right now for AUD JPY is for us to pass this line, retest it, and then we enter the trade. That's it. That's how you'll execute every single one of your trades. And I'll tell you, thank you, everyone. I know some of you have hit me up in my inbox to let me know that you guys have taken some trading on your own. You did this checklist. You know, I had someone hit me up, said they went 5 for 5, you know, just started really trading with the web analyzer, went 5 for 5 with their trades. I had someone who went 16 for 16, someone who did 24 trades on their own. So, folks, when I say this is an absolute powerful, especially if you're a beginner, this is a powerful checklist. Now, you see, wonder if we'd have went into this trade. We went and pulled back for no reason, okay? So this is what we're waiting for. We're making sure we're not getting caught in the pullback. Now, understand, this is what we call a full-out flag. So all this consolidation is just, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say flag, definitely continue to go through the academy. I want you to go through your Forex Advanced, because when you start having this knowledge, it's game over, okay? So this is a flag right here, correction. So you get data points. So one, and this is just extra bonus training right now. You know, the market is filled with M's and W's. You'll hear that constantly. So first data point, second data point, okay? All right, then boom, boom. This is an M shape. So 1, 2, 3, and then we got a connection here. We're going to go up again, and then we'll probably get a shift down, okay? Which is still below the cloud on the 15. So if we go to our 15-minute chart, okay? And look, remember I talked about that red line being crossed up over, so that's why we didn't want to enter there either. So we want to wait. But this will be ready because our currency strength indicator says that, hey, it's still weak. It just needs to consolidate a little bit. So like I said, the market is pausing because news is happening. So we might do a little bit of training before this news hits, and then hopefully we get some trades off right after the news. Wow, folks, 465 folks on this call. All right, we're going to do this every single day. Let me answer some questions here, and then we will go in. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So Travis, are you in the Breakfast Club? If you're in the Breakfast Club Telegram, it's in there. If not, I'm going to add you to it. I'm going to drop the link here. So I will drop the link here in the Breakfast Club. This is for everybody. You can even add prospects there. The only rules that we have there is we don't give any type of TPs or trades there. That will be done here on the Breakfast Club. We just talk about the trades that we did have on the call. All right, so let me find. Yes, I'll talk about the money line, Heidi. All right, let me get this link for you. One second, folks. I'm searching for this link here. There we go. All right, about to drop it in the group now. All right, this is our Breakfast Club. So this is where if you had questions about this trades or the checklist, go to files and you'll find the high probability confirmation with. All All right, we just got a trade called here. Let's see, hold on, it hasn't came through yet. There we go. All right, there it is. All right, so we just got NJ call. So once again, here's what we're gonna do. Analyze the charts real quick. What's the first thing that we do? I hear all you guys joining the group now. So the first thing we do, we go to the M15. Okay, that's below the cloud. We go to the 1 hour. Below the cloud, we go to the 4 hour. Below the cloud, then we go to the day chart. Not below the cloud yet. Okay, so we're going to talk about this one though. This will be one for the later time. This is what we did with AJ. So I'm going to talk about this is going to be powerful if this continually drops. Okay. Now remember I said that the lines are resistant. Every line on this chart means something. On this day chart, this is the part that the majority of people miss, and then you'll get into a trade and be like, man, why did it pull back? Let's talk about market structure. Okay, remember, just because it was below the call on the other charts, right? This is a correction. This is a correction. Not until it breaks structure here. This is going to break structure right here. This is the previous low. Once it breaks structure here, which breaks my what? My Seco span B. Once it breaks structure here, guess where it's falling to? Here. Or it's falling here. We did exactly this with AJ. And we all caught about 50 some pips, if not more. All right, so we're looking for, once we hit past this point, we're looking at a 100 pip move. Right? This is 100 pips in between here. So this is worth the wait. So once we break out here, it's going to retest. But it's showing entry here, but we're not going to take this entry. We're going to break structure. But let me just let's show you what it really looks like overall, what you're seeing here. So let's say you drew the pretty line here, and you thought this was the trend up, and then you got your break. You enter here. This is going to reverse back up if it respects this line. If it breaks out, let's see where it's at. This is the point here. Once it passes here, so we just got 11 pips. It passed this point. We're going to wait for it to retest, and then we'll hop in for that trade. So this is the trend down. All right. So once again, high probability confirmation checklist. We looked at the trend already, so we're waiting for the day chart. Number 2, support and resistance line. We go take our line here, put it on the chart. We click on the edit button here. We find this thing right here, little box right here. Okay, you go to this gear. Very simple. We type in the number that it gives us, 71756. Now we know this is on the day chart between here, so we're not going to take the trade until after this point here. However, this is our resistance line, our entry point. Next, we're going to look for the pullback. So we can start taking our 5 minute for entry. Okay. Look, yes, we do have a pullback happening. See that? This is a pullback. That's a correction. So guess what it's doing? It's respecting the line. So retest, retest. What are we waiting for next? Number 3, right? Retest, retest. Number 4, we're looking for our bearish candle to go in the direction of our trade because we're going to be selling. Number 5, we go check and make sure it makes sense. We look at the currency strength. We make sure NZD is less than what? JPY. It is. It checks. Okay? So we can execute that trade. However, we're cautious because we know about the day chart. We're going to wait a little bit. We don't want to get caught in a pullback, or we don't want to get caught in a reversal where this thing goes back up. So, folks, the way that I trade, I just make sure that I want to ensure that we're closing out a trade every single time. So we're going to be a little bit patient. Trust me, this was learned through experience. Okay? They always say experience is the best teacher. I'm sure, I don't know if you've blown an account before, but you know, there's times where you look back, you say, man, why did I do that? And so I've just learned over time to be patient and really know what to look for in this. And I'll tell you, this strategy just gives you everything, especially for our beginners. So everything I'm giving you, as long as you follow by that, you do it, you will trade exactly like I'm trading today. You don't have to be an expert to do this. You just got to be disciplined. All right, so let me take a look at AJ. AJ is getting ready. So we're going to go back to AJ. All right, news is about to happen in 30 minutes. All right, so here's our AJ here. Let's go ahead and put this 716. That was my alert for AJ. All right, and make sure we do it here. All right, go ahead and sell AJ. Sell AUDJPY. So I'm selling AUDJPY for 10 pips. All right, my entry point is 74.677. All right, entry point 74.677. My TP is going to be 74.577. All right, and that's what you call a breakout right there. That was a flag formation. We got our breakout. Now let's talk about this trade. So this trade I already know is going to head down. So here's where I call for this trade. So on the day chart, we already call that U2. So of course going for 10 pips, but you can take it to what's that? 745, which we're already doing that 745.9, and then probably get a correction. We're gonna get a correction there, and then you can take it down to around, let's say around 74300. I'll just say to make it simple 400. All right, we're about to get the cross on the 15. So cool. We're in the trade for AJ. Your TP is going to be 10 pips from the time that you enter. So whatever your entry is, I'll say you can just subtract 10. All right, for those that now obviously go through the academy so you can learn this, but I'm going to give you a simple way to do this. When you're calculating your TP, anytime that you buy, you're going to add 10. Anytime that you sell, you're going to subtract 10. Very simple. Now the yen, so these numbers are always like the yen has 3 numbers, and then you look at any other currency, it's 5 numbers behind. So I'm going to just make it simple. Just go straight to the back number, okay? The back number is your pipette. All you're going to do is, instead of using your pipette, you're going to go in front of the pipette, and those are your pips. You're going to subtract or add 10. So right now, let's say you entered at 680 right here, okay? So that means if you execute at 680, you subtract 10 because you sold. That would be what? 580. That would be your TP, okay? Now, I'll talk about stop losses as well because I know I always get that question. So do you set a stop loss? That's up to you, okay? Your stop loss is based off what you want to risk. I'll just tell you what I do and why I do it. I don't set a stop loss anymore. I used to. And of course, sometimes you get wicked out. Now, it's the cost of doing business. So it depends on what you want to do. I'll tell you, in 6 weeks, the past 6 weeks, I haven't set a stop loss. Why? Because I trade with the trend. We're all in the blue now. So everybody should be in the blue right now. Oh, the call's maxed out. Man, you guys maxed out the call. This is the first time the call is maxed out. Wow. Okay. All right, we are in the blue right now, folks. And here it's just this simple. We do the trade like this every single time. When it meets the criteria, boom, you go into the trade. We get minimal pullback. That's what it is. So I enjoy this. I enjoy this style here. So let's talk about stop losses. So I don't set a stop loss because we trade with the trend. We trade market structure. So let's talk about what market structure is. Captain's going to explain a little bit more for you. All right. Whether you know it or not, we've been trading market structure. If you've been trading with me this past 6 weeks, you've been trading market structure. Okay. Because we only trade with the trend. So regardless, let's say this thing pulls back. Guess what? It still has to fall. Okay. Because it's trading with the trend. So you do what the academy tells you. We go into long-term. What do? We go into long-term sells in a downtrend. We go in long-term buys in an uptrend. Okay. So this is a downtrend. We're looking for a long-term sell. That's why most of us were able to hold this for about 50 or so pips long-term with AJ. Okay. And then these are what we call corrections. Now the market, I won't talk about the Elliott's wave or anything. I want you to go in the academy to learn a little bit more of that stuff. It's going to just add to your arsenal. But stop losses. If you decide to set a stop loss. Now understand, what do I mean by it going with the trend? On your 1 hour, it's a downtrend, right? It comes back up. It's going to retest your Tankerson. It's going to drop back down. On your 15-minute, it's going to come up. If it pulls back, it's going to test your Tankerson. Then it's going to drop back down. If it does go past this one, you have another layer to your 1 hour, and that's okay. You know, I always say my pullbacks just means I'm going to get paid extra money. So if this pulls back to this line and it's significant, if it's like this will be 20 pips or so, I'm going to secure a second position because I'm leveraging properly. I'm going to secure a second position when it retossed off this line because I'm still going to follow my checklist. My checklist says for number 3, wait for the pullback. Well, the pullback happens. I wait for 2 to 3 retests. Boom, boom. Price starts moving my direction. I look at my currency strength meter. It still shows that AUD is weaker than JPY. I'm in the blue, ready to go. So boom, we execute another position, and then we take it all the way down. Not only do we get all this money down this way, we still get our 10 pips. So now we're 30 pips in profit. AJ pulled back on us. We were in AJ for how long? I think, 12 hours or 24 hours? I pulled 90 pips because I entered 3 positions. 90 pips from AJ. It paid me big time. So it pays to be patient. I'm going to tell you that. So just know that pullbacks just means that you're going to get more money in the way that we trade. All right, so news is happening in about 20 minutes. So what we need here, if you guys see what's happening right now, we got 5 minutes, about 5 minutes on this candle. Once it, there we go. It had to break this point here. Once it break past this point, then we're gonna get our continuation down. Like I said, we already have our line set up here. We're gonna go to our next point, which is like at 5.9. I'll have you probably lock about 5 pips in profit to make sure if you get that pullback, we could always re-enter. So everybody's good in profit, going down to profit now. Let's look at, so we're already, let's see if NZD is dropping yet. NZD JPY. So AJ, we're in there. All right, we're gonna let that do its thing. All right, NZD, let's go check the day chart. That's what we're waiting for. All right, not ready yet. We're waiting for this. Once we get this point, we're gonna take this one down. This is a 100 pip setup that we're looking for this one. Okay, I love it. We got our cross under for the day chart. We just needed to break the cloud. All right, we already looked at EUR. We're waiting for this one actually to bust past our area here. Looks like they're trying to call it for a sell right now. So we're waiting on NZD JPY. We're in AJ. AJ's in profit right now. Depends on who your broker is. If your spread is high, my spread is I'm with Hugo's Way, so the spread is, it's not too bad actually. But if your spread is high, yeah, you can watch it. You know what? I'm gonna tell you my don'ts during trading. You know, today I learned a lesson. Today I'm gonna tell you what my lesson learned today. Do not apply this checklist to GJ or gold. Or gold is all right, but you're gonna use smaller lot sizes for GJ. GJ goes by separate rules. So we end up doing a GJ trade today. That one, GJ is, we have a love-hate relationship. I'll say that. Yeah, AJ, you can take AJ to about 74.400 or 500, even down to 300. Just make sure that when you go past 10 or 20 pips, just lock in your profit. You know, bring your trailing stop loss down, so you lock that in. Yeah, GJ did finally go in profit though. So it just GJ is so volatile. It moves. It moves like nobody's business. All right, we are in AJ. We're waiting for this news to hit. We'll see what it does. 841. Now here's the great part. When the news does hit, I'll tell you when we are in trades. When we are in trades, okay, because we're in market structure, the news doesn't necessarily impact us. The news just accelerates what the trade was going to do. Okay, so for example, if it was going to correct, it was going to correct, and it's going to make it correct faster to the trend line. But the biggest thing, as long as it doesn't break structure, right? It doesn't pass the previous high or low based off if you're in a downtrend or uptrend. It doesn't matter. News is just going to accelerate it, okay? Or it's gonna prolong your take profit. As long as you're leveraged properly, you'll be fine. So try not to get scared when the news hits. For the most part, it always comes back to where it's supposed to be at as far as market structure. Someone was talking about GBP AUD. I don't think GBP AUD, I was looking at that earlier. I don't think GBP AUD is ready. So pull back there. It's in the 4 hour. Yep, that's in 1 hour. So that's about the break structure here. 15-minute above the cloud and day chart. So not ready yet. All right, news happening in 15 minutes. We're about 5 pips in profit. Yeah, we're still waiting for NJ. I have an alert set, so we'll get it. We won't miss NJ. I have an alert set for it, so it'll ding for me once it happens. All right, so same thing. We'll wait for EuroCAD. I don't think EUR AUD is ready either. Waiting for that to break out the day chart as well. And like I said, folks, if the trading style that I'm doing, like, could this trade be called and you take it? Absolutely. I just don't take risks like that. I like, you know, they say we can't say guarantee, but I'll tell you, high probability is a big deal. Okay. High probability. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see you folks. I will look at you. I'm just trying to make sure. Let's see what else we got. So all right, let's take a look at UJ. USD JPY. News is coming up, so we're not going to trade it right now, but I'll take a look at it. All right, UJ. So day chart above the cloud. 4 hour above the cloud. 1 hour below the cloud. Okay, I want you to see this. I'm going to do this so you can see how this equates to one another. Then we go to our 15-minute. 15 minutes below the cloud. Let's go back to that 4 hour. Right? This is an uptrend. So this is why you have to look at all the charts. Okay? It's still a trend up. Why? Because the low, high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is equal right now. So this could either break down, okay, and break out, or it may shift up. So you got to allow the market to do what it's going to do. One thing I want you to remember, we're not proactive in the market. We react to the market. You know, it's too many times I see one thing I learned a lesson on, okay, is, you know, I learned it all, right? I went through the academy. I was like, okay, head and shoulders, this and that. And you can see you got one shoulder done, you got the head done, you got a part of the other shoulder done, right? And remember, you don't enter into the neckline, but you're like, oh, that's got to happen. Why would it form that if it wasn't going to happen? And so we try to be proactive because we want to get in early. Tips, and what do? We execute that entry. So, folks, we're halfway through. We are 7 pips in profit. If you want to bring a stop loss in the profit, you can do that. Okay. So AJ is making this move down. Love it. So we are proactive and we get in there, we execute the trade, and then what happens? It goes the opposite way. It doesn't go where we expect it to go. So, you know, I learned that you're not proactive in the market. We react to the market. We look for the conditions that we want out of the market. And then once we get those conditions, the confirmation I'm talking about, then we execute. That's where your discipline is going to come in at. Okay. If there's no trades to get out of the market, guess what? Live the trade another day. Don't go into the trade. Don't do it. There's been a time that we've all got on here. You guys know that. We got on the Breakfast Club call and there was no trades. I said, you know what, guys? Let's just do a trade. Let's just do training. Because sometimes that's what the market gives us. So, and since that discipline, folks, man, I've been 100%. That's just been it. It's all about discipline. Okay. All right. We're getting close to hitting TP, folks. Love it. So we're about to hit our first TP here. Go ahead. Yeah, it'll hit TP before the news. So, but just in case, we're going to go ahead and lock 5 pips in just to be safe. We are literally a couple pips before, let me see. We're right there at TP. So we're about 1 pip from TP right now. Here's what I always say. When you're looking at this, like let's say this thing is playing around. I want to give you guys some mindset. Let's say this thing is playing around. You're like, okay, give me that 1 pip. Give me that 1 pip. Give me that 1 pip. Folks, close out the trade. Don't wait for 1 pip. If it's playing around with you, close it out. Don't let 1 pip take all your money. I close trades out and I live to trade another day. Okay? There's never been a person in history that's went broke profiting. Okay? Everybody's like, look, close. Close. That's right. Close them out. Get that money. Okay? You can't go broke and profit. News is about to hit in 12 minutes. All right? All right, someone wants me to look at GJ. I'll look at that real quick. So for USD JPY, here's what we're looking at. It's not ready yet, okay? Here's what needs to happen. This price needs to go above the red and the blue line here, okay? So never execute a trade for a buy below the red and blue lines, right? Remember I said every one of the lines on this chart acts as either a resistant or a support point. So anytime that you're buying, everything should be below your price. Anytime that you're selling, everything should be above your price. That's it. And that will keep you safe. That will keep you 100%. I don't know if I can say 100%, but that'll keep you high probability. I'm going to use that. That'll keep you in a high probability state. Okay. No, UJ will be a buy as of right now. UJ is nothing right now. I wouldn't even take this trade. So okay. So I wouldn't even take this trade right now, but UJ is going into a buy. You see this? You know, so just putting in other stuff, right? So first of all, I understand a trading flag. So if you guys follow Stevenson Lindor, he talks about this all the time. Okay. Another successful trader that I follow along with Dr. K. See this engulfing candle that's happening. Now, obviously, this is a 4-hour we need to close out. But if we get an engulfing candle here, this is definitely going to continue up. And then what do we have here? We're looking at, I would wait for it to pass this point and test off of it. But then you're looking, of course, get your 10 pips in there, and then you get your money up to this point here. And, of course, for it to be an uptrend, it needs to continue the higher high. So it has to break structure here, make another higher high, and then it continues as an uptrend. So this is why I tell you to keep it simple. You know, even for you teaching, maybe you might get another person involved with it. If you want to teach this, you just let them know. I only trade above the cloud all charts. I only trade below the cloud all charts. I like that high probability lifestyle. So you got in 108.6. So you're on a pullback right now, right? 108.6. So this is your resistance point. So here's what I recommend for you. If this comes up, as soon as it comes up, close out. And then don't enter it until you get up here. So when it gets up to your entry point, you get into a little blue, close it out. Oh, yeah. Everybody's hitting us up. They can't get into this. You guys lucky. This is what's called early bird is the worm right here. People are trying to get in this session right now and they can't get in. We got to upgrade the session. All right. So we got, let me see, we got 8 minutes to the news here. Let me see what, oh, GJ. I'm looking at GJ real quick and then we'll answer some questions and wait for this news to hit. Like I said, GJ upsets me.
DJ went for a short-term buy, went for a short-term sell, got an engulfing candle on the 15-minute chart, and it's in a short-term buy right now.
Yeah, it upsets me, folks. I'm not, it's just so you know, I'm not going to call GJ on here at all. AJ's in the pullback. We're going to check it out because in the pullback, great. That means, guess what? When AJ goes in the pullback, that means you can enter again. I love pullbacks. Pullbacks are the best. So anytime a trade pulls back, this is the greatest part. You can like trade the same currency all day long with this checklist, right? Remember this, no pullback, no entry. No pullback, no entry, okay? Because you don't want to get caught in the pullback. The best part is to enter off the pullback instead of getting caught in the pullback. So you can keep on entering over and over. So the great part is once you enter a trade like we just closed out, right? Then AJ went in the pullback. Well, guess what we can do? Wait for the pullback. It retests our area again. 1, 2, boom. We get our retest. Price starts moving in our direction. We enter the trade. Bam. We get 10 pips again. All right, so here's what GJ is doing, folks. Now, like I said, GJ operates on a whole nother set of rules, man. I'm going to just tell you that right now. This is the corrective flag right here, so there will be a breakout. Now, the way that GJ operates, you're looking at these candles and they look innocent. GJ, you see this? This is between this point, like literally hundreds of pips. It moves fast. So use a small lot size. If you're going to trade, if you're a beginner, I'm going to recommend you don't trade GJ if you're a beginner, okay? And I don't think that the web analyzer even calls GJ. I haven't seen a call come from GJ. So 132 300. So this right here, just 50 pips alone, just between this area on the 15 minutes. This is 50 pips. See what I'm saying? So don't mess with GJ if you've never traded before. But where I see GJ right now, I mean, GJ can do, I'll tell you, GJ has a mind of his own. Sometimes, even though it looks like this, GJ will just go up because it can. But right now, what I'm seeing is GJ will have a push down. It is below the cloud on all charts. It is at one of the lowest points it's ever been. So know that. So we don't know when it's gonna reverse up. It will reverse up. Okay. So I don't know if it's gonna reverse up from this point, or maybe it might decide says I want to go into the 120s. We don't know, but just be easy with GJ. With our confirmation checklist, I'll tell you, you don't have to even trade it. You don't have to necessarily trade it, folks. There's so much other stuff you can trade with this strategy right now. All right, so we got 5 minutes to the news. All right, let's take a look at AJ again. AUDJPY. We didn't get any alert for NZDJPY yet. So look at that. Didn't I say close out at 1 pip, didn't we? Didn't we do ourselves well? Because we finna go back in and go get the rest of those pips. Don't let 1 pip stop the show for you. Oh, some people didn't close out. Some people cared about that 1 pip. All right, it's gonna come back down. It's gonna pull back. Like I said, so one of those things, when you're 1 pip from TP, folks, forget the 1 pip. If you see it, you could always make it up. And like I said, one of the strategies I like to bring when we're 8 pips in profit, I like to bring my stop loss 5 pips in profit. That's too many times that I've been in a trade and that joker rolls back and you're like, it's going to come back down. Then it don't come back down for a while. So get knocked out in 5 pips. And guess what? You go back in for that trade again, you get another 5 pips. No big deal. All right, 4 minutes to the news. So we're waiting on AJ right here. And let's look at NJ. Why? Everything is is pausing, waiting for the news right now. So pull back there. Still on the day chart, we're waiting. But this is going to be nice. We're going to be able to eat a lot off of this once this drop happens. I'm telling you, we just did this with AJ. So what's going to happen is pop through. It's anytime it pops through a support point to make it a resistance point, it's always going to bust through. There's always, always, always going to be a retest. Don't let it fool you. It's going to pop past. Don't be FOMO, right? I've been there. I'm talking from experience. FOMO means the fear of missing out. Meaning you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss the big move. No, it's not gonna. This is not gonna bust out and just continue down. It's gonna bust out, and it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back home and say, do I want to come home? Nah, I don't want to come home. It's a reject off, and it's gonna come back down. Okay. But you're gonna allow the market to do that before you enter. All right. Let's see what this market is about to do. We got 2 minutes, folks. I think we already looked at GBP USD. I forget which traits we looked at. I hope you guys writing them down. And you could also write these down for later so that you can look at them. Because trust me, I know that you have everyone on here. You're already master traders. You just don't know it yet. With the tools that we have, oh yeah, we did look at GU. So here's what we're waiting for GU. Depending on what the news do, we may get a push down. So see what happens. This is the flag formation. All right. We got 1 minute. Let's see what we about to get. Everything is kind of pulsating. It's like, what are we going to do? So we're waiting to see. Let's get this market rolling and moving. Tomorrow is FOMC, so make sure you're careful inside the market. We're going to get this market moving a lot. Great. Here we go. Let's just get this out of the way. There it is. Let's see what we got. Anything happening? Look at AJ coming back for us. So we're watching GU. So once GU's coming down, let's see what we got. GU, 1 hour, 4 hour, yep, and day chart checks. And then let me look to the left. So anytime I go to the day chart, immediately I want to know if I can get 10 pips out of this. You see this right here is facing down. We're going to go left, right? You want to see if you can get 10 pips out of this. We go left. All right, see where the price line is at. We expand in. So guess what? And this is don't forget to do this. You see this point? I'm going to go ahead and put a line here because this this lets me know there's going to be possibly a pullback at this area here. It's sitting on a critical zone here. If it passes that point, then we have into here. Let's see if it's worth it. We go back to our 15. Oh yeah. So yeah, it is. So it can definitely give us 10 pips. All right, let me take a look at. I'm looking at AJ on my phone. So AJ still not ready. So we're waiting on JJ. So no worries. So we're looking at AJ and we're looking at GU. Just waiting for entry. Right now, AJ is right above this entry point here. Now I'll tell you a lot of techniques here. So personally, like I said, I don't set stop losses, but there are folks that if you wanted to, right? Let's say because this is above the cloud on here, even though I know it's a flag, I'm just telling this for brand new folks. Let's say you say I want to get in. Now this is not the high probability confirmation checklist because remember, all these lines are significant. It may come here, reject off, go back up. But what you can do, if you do decide to do it this way, if you execute your trade here, you place your stop loss here. Or you can place your stop loss above the previous high. Okay? Now this trade, it looks like we're going to be able to get definitely our 10 pips, of course. So this alone is 40 pips. So am I reading that right? Yeah. 25. So about 30 pips in between here. So we're looking at this. We're going to let price close there. Let's go to our 15 for entry. Let's go to our 5. Where's 5 minutes? So this is our entry point. So right now it's 3 pips away from where we want to enter at. We're going to wait for it to pass this point, reject off, and then we'll enter our trade. AJ still in the pullback, and all right, we got 1 minute left on this candle. Remember, we've already did the checklist, right? Because our point, don't worry, folks, that fear of missing out, it always kicks in. Just you're seeing that, you're like, man, I'm missing the move. Trust me. When this lights up, the first thing is going to happen. You're going to get the green candle is going to go back up and test this area. Watch. Or it might move. We're not going to get caught in this pullback, though. And this may be news that's actually hidden. It's all good. This is our point here, so it's okay. We're still good. This is actually the bottom right here. I'm glad I was looking at the 5 minute for some reason. This is the entry point that the web analyzer call. This is the cloud right here on the 15-minute chart. Told you, right? It always does it. It breaks out the home. They want to go back and see if it wants to come home. It's going to reject off of it, and then we'll get our push back down. Or it might pass it up. All right, this is why we're patient. You see this? The fear of missing out would have had us in a pullback. Trust me, I've learned my lesson. All right, so we're still waiting on so AJ's pulling back, GU's pulling back. What else we have here? GA. And there it is. Look what it did to us. So it went right back into that flag. That's what happens, folks. It does. This is what it will do to you. But we were patient. We didn't fall for it. All right, let's go look at this currency strength. All right, so let's go take a look at AJ is still in the works. I got it on my phone, so I'm checking out. AJ's not ready. Let's take a look at GBP AUD. Hey, today, here's what we're gonna do. There's over 500. There's over 500 folks on this call. Before we end this call, make sure we come up with a hashtag. We can use Breakfast Club FX, but I want you guys to highlight ECC11. Definitely tag Dr. K in that as well too. ECC11. You can tag me as well in that. And let's blow it up about the ECC11 strategy, folks, and get folks on this breakfast call. We will change a lot of lives. I'm excited about, my personal team as well. And just the company in whole. Just imagine creating, super traders. It's coming. With this strategy right here, it's coming. All right, so GA, 15 minutes, 1 hour. Okay, not above the cloud. So we just stop right here. No need to even look any further. Let's go back to all right, let's go back to GU. I think GU, GBPUSD. All right, there it is. Retesting off. Went back. Look, retest. Boom. Okay. All right, so GU should be getting ready. So let's go ahead and put our line out there. Entry point is given by the web analyzer. We get that from here. So you see the entry point there. So here's what I'll also say, Sue. You'll see this. This is short term. When you see this, but you go look at the chart, and this is where you can decide. You go look at the current strength. Just because it calls a buy here, sometimes it's just short term. The significant part about this call is this price right here. That is the support and resistance line no matter what. It's the same. Okay? So we still take that number and we plug it in, 21757. All right, boom, gave it to us off of there. Come back, retest. Now, remember we said we're now going to this to a bust out of the cloud here. Okay? So this is what we're looking for here. So you can almost look at this. Like I said, when you look at the cloud has just about every type of indicator that you need. So when we're talking about price trap, guess what this is? This is a price trap. As soon as it breaks out here, it's going to come back, retest, and then we'll go in and we'll catch our pips all the way down. Okay? So this we'll catch about 20 to 30 pips off this push. It pays to be patient. We're going to be looking for the sell for GU. We're not going into it yet. I like that hashtag ECC11 for breakfast. All right. So we're just waiting for the proper conditions, folks. Remember, we're not proactive in the market. We react to the market. But I want you to see something. Anytime it happens on the 15-minute chart, it's going to happen on the big chart. I want you guys to remember what this looks like. See this? Actually, it's not on this. Actually, that was NZD. There's a lot of familiar patterns that happen in the market. M's and W's. M's and W's. You get the same criteria. You see this? We're going to wait for this is structure right here. Once it breaks this low, structure is broken. Guess what? It breaks that line. Then we know that we're getting these pips in. And so really, whether you know it or not, you've been learning market structure. Charmin, yes, it's in the Breakfast Club chat. So I believe, let me see if I can post that link here. There's a link. Go into files and on this Breakfast Club chat on Telegram, and then you'll find the checklist. All right, AJ, let's see. We're still waiting on AJ. what this news did. All right, looks like AJ is going to materialize first, so let's go to AJ. All right, so once again, price rejected off. We're gonna be safe. This is price trapped in between these two. Remember, every line is significant. So in between this line, this is resistance. This is now support. Okay, so price can ping in between this and actually shift up. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for price to go past and close here. Then we'll hop back in and we'll knock out we'll knock out our trade again. So we got 2 minutes on the candle. Everything already makes sense. We go back to currency strength. Looks good. Wait for our conditions. So here, I think UJ's not bust out of the day cloud yet, but all right, we got 1 minute left on this candle. I just seen somebody. If you can't find the checklist after this call, I'll post the checklist again. See, this is why we're patient for this reason right here. All right. Can never make assumptions in this market. So when they're the same, typically they're probably either consolidating right now, but allow the market to make a decision. You have me, so USD are the same, so it may not be moving. And I just seen Dr. K. She's letting you know GER30 was calling on the London payout. So remember, you can always add the London payout for $7 right here for your index. You see this is going up, so we're gonna wait. It's all good. It's gonna give us what we want. It's calling GBP USD, so we're waiting. We're just pinging in between. One of them is gonna pay us. Let's see. And folks, I'm just meticulous about entry points. So I don't assume that something is going to go in a location, because there's been too many times I was proactive in the market, jumped in, and then the trade didn't go that way. So that's why I follow this checklist to a T. And it does require discipline, because sometimes you just want to hop in. Oh, that's right. So GU, we are waiting for it to pop past this point here. That's what it was. Let me do this real quick so we don't miss the GU move. $21,558. Did I already do that? Oh, we already said, okay. All right, so everything's pulling back right now. We're just waiting. We're waiting for the pullback. So remember, we're in step 3 right now. So what's happening? Let's go to AJ. We're in step 3 right now. Once step 3 is complete, and then we go to step 4, we'll be able to enter the trade. Confirmation 4 is what we're waiting for. Now you don't have to draw these lines. I just naturally do them automatically. I'm just used to doing them. The cloud already gives you this. But just so you can see how everything works inside one another. And we're going to take it down to about 74350. So what I'll do now, we're waiting on GU and we're waiting on AJ. Pull GU up on my phone. Let's look at some other stuff here. Does this look familiar? M's and W's. This is a big old nice M, isn't it? Came from the day chart. Okay. So we got that pop. NZD, we're waiting for NZD to do the same exact thing. And it's just trailing right behind its buddy. So we probably can get 10 pips out of this one here. It's on a pullback right now as well. All right, 38 seconds left for this candle. All right, we're just waiting. Just give me, I know, there we go. We got some curvature here. Let's see. AJ wanted us to work for this. So I know what it's trying to do is it wants us to go in there and sell it so it can pull back a little bit more. We're gonna get the best position possible. Best seat in the house. All right, I'll make sure I post a checklist. I can post it right now while we wait for this here. All right. The checklist, I just dropped it in there in case Stewart dropped it also. So checklist is now in the group. There we go. Let's go. I know you guys got some questions. I'm going to answer the question. I just want to make sure we get some trades in there real quick. All right, so we're waiting on GU. You guys can write these down. We're waiting for GBP USD for a sell. We're waiting on that one. Waiting on AJ for a sell. We also waiting on NZD JPY for the sell. We're waiting for the break on the day chart. Okay, those are the three big ones. NZD is going to pay you if NZD breaks that cloud. You're gonna look for at least a 100 pip drop. You know, of course, set your, get your 25 pips in, 50 pips, or even if you can hold for 100 pips, you can go for 100 pips. Okay. GU paid a lot of us because we got that break out of that one. It did the same exact thing. So GU. Those are the three major ones that we're looking at today. I will look at UJ. There we go. All right, here we got some movement coming. Patience, patience. But you know what? One day you'll respect this patience. Maybe there's somebody with a smaller account. You're like, man, we waiting a long time. But then there's somebody who has an account where you're dropping 5, 10, 20 standards, where it's $200 per pip, $300 per pip. Guess what? When it's that much per pip, then you will take the time to wait. So this is just teaching you a little bit of discipline, right? And how to wait for it and make sure that it's going to happen. All right, we got one more minute on this candle. It's going to close below this one. Once we get this close here, we get another bearish candle. We're going to enter for this trade. It looks like it's keep on pulling back. Like I said, every line is significant in this indicator. So right now it's banging off of the Tennyson right now. It's bouncing off the Tennyson right now. All right, we got 21 seconds. Price looks like it's about to close below, so that's good. There we go. Wait for it's going to pull up a little bit, and then we're going to get it right off that pull up. All right, we'll get ready. And let's go ahead and sell AUD-JPY. Oh, sell AUD-JPY. And we almost forgot this last part, but we're selling. All right, for 10 pips. All right, my entry point is 74.634. So my TP is going to be 74534. Just subtract. All right, 10 from 6.3, right? Or 10 from your TP. I'm sorry, 10 from your entry. Like I said, it always comes back up in a retest. It's okay. That it's really close, so we're good here. Then on our 15, same thing. It's already right there, so we're good. It's been respecting it, so we're waiting for our 10 pips to hit there. All right, everything checked. So let me just tell you why we did this. Walk through the checklist real quick, right? We looked at the trend. Everything was below the cloud. We looked at the 15, H1, H4, and day chart. That checked. Number two, our entry point. We knew that it was, I think the web called it 640, so it was already banging against that. And it was also banging against our Tankerson. So one retest, 2 retest. Price starts moving our direction. I did make entry off the 5 minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then of course we had that price starts moving direction. We entered the trade. And then on the pullback, this is the pullback. This is our correction right here. So we're already in the pullback, so it's okay. So most time when we enter the pullback, if it does pull back any more, most of the time it's no more than 5 to 10 pips for the most part when we enter the right way. Okay, so we will. You should expect to pull back no more than 10. Sometimes, and just to give some training, sometimes, hey, if you go in a 20 pip pullback, no big deal, right? It's going to come back. Why? Because we're trading with the trend. We're in the downtrend. All right, so we're in AJ right now for 10 pips. And then, so we got in on the pullback, and then we went to our currency strength meter to make sure that it still made sense. AUD is still weaker than JPY. Okay, AUD is still weaker than JPY. All right, so someone's been asking for it, so we went into one more trade. We're going to wait for GU. GU's not ready yet. So let's go ahead and let's look at UJ. Folks, and here's what I want you to do. So I know a lot of folks, when you ask, I want you to start being able to analyze these, because you can analyze these yourself. If you ask yourself, do I stay in a trade? You still can apply the same thing. Let me go look at all the charts, M15 through the day chart, and you'll be able to analyze your chart. So immediately looking right on our 15, no big deal when it goes above the cloud on 15, but you know, pretty much in the cloud on the 15 and a crossover. 1 hour below the cloud. And I think I've already talked about this one. This was the one that this is a correction. We look at our 4 hour. All right, that's our overall trend. So we're in an overall trend up, right? So this is a correction. We talked about this already, right? So only several things that can happen here. Right? Anytime the cloud price, okay, so we have several resistance, several support points. So the cloud is here. This is the support point, okay? Your trend up. 4 hour above the cloud, support point on the cloud here. And you can see it's if we go right here, this is the beginning of this cloud here. It's bouncing off of this support point, folks. This cloud is very significant. All right, then we go to the 15, the 1 hour. All right, 1 hour is below. What we can do is let's play some. This is what I like to do. I like to show you how price gets boxed in. So here's where our 1 hour is at. Okay, and let's see what 15 minutes is showing us. Here's where our 15 minute is showing us. Now let's go back to our 4 hour. So going back to our 4 hour, these are all the support and resistance areas. So we had our correction. Look, prices stand below. I think this one is off our 1 hour. This one is this is off the 1 hour. This is off the 15 minutes. It's below it, right? But this is the date. This is the 4 hour, which is this is also support. So price is currently trapped. When I say that this has everything you need in it, so price is currently trapped. So we need price to make a decision. So we're not going to do anything here. I won't trade this. So if you're in a trade, like when you get close to blue, close it out and then wait for price to actually make a decision. If you want higher probability of closing out in a good trade. Okay, so now when price gets above this point, you do see the red kind of shifting up. When price moves above this point, then you'll be good to go in for this trade and track it up. Right now, we don't know what this is going to do. This can actually fall and break through this trend line here, and then it can continue down. If it does do that, then we look left. We know the next area is here. Okay, and then it just makes it drops all the way down. So just UJ is not ready yet. So I wouldn't trade UJ. So we still got to pull back on AJ. It's okay. All right, so let's talk about, so we're waiting on GU. We're in AJ already, and we're waiting on NZD JPY. So let's go. I'm going to go over some of these questions here, and then we can end our session. All right. How can we join the London session? Dr. K does the London session at 2 o'clock. The London session, when I hop on the London session, is just personally, I do one personally for my team. We just hop on for about an hour or so. But you can plug in with Dr. K at 2 a.m. and plug in with her at 4 a.m. All right, how can we join? Okay, same thing, London session. All right, so looking at when the cloud is thick, so it's based off momentum, okay? So when you see a very thin cloud, just means there was a lot of momentum in the market. Also believe that if it does happen to pull back, it will be probably the likely area where the candles will actually break through the cloud. So there's several aspects of the cloud. Let's talk about this. So for example, this was a lot of momentum right here. See this momentum? Well, it formed this cloud as well. It formed this cloud here. So let's talk about several instances with the cloud. All right, see how this moved up? Okay, just a little bit, this little bonus training here. Anytime there's a Kumo twist, it's an indication that there's going to be a change in the trend, right? So that's hence you've seen this consolidating, you've seen this lead one, right? We call it the Seiko span A, cross over Seiko span B, Kumo twist, trend change, boom, okay? And then boom, we consolidated. Guess what happened? Boom, boom, boom. Guess what? You got it again. Red went under the green. You had another twist. And then it happened again, another twist right here. Then you had your trend down. Okay, so that's significant there if you want to pay attention to that. Letting you know that there's going to be a trend change. So when you're paying attention to this, so let's say we're trading. I'm not worried about this not dropping because it doesn't say that this is going to go up yet. Right now, this is still tracking down. Now, if you start seeing where this starts tapering off like this, okay, this comes down, you start seeing this twist up. If you see this green line start twisting up, be cautious that you may not be able to continue down. It may change trends. Okay, so that's when you're looking at this cloud. But the greatest part is, like I said, we're good, right? It's over. We are in an overall trend in this trade. So even on this pullback here, we still getting our drop. All right, next part of the cloud. What else are we talking about here? You know, everyone already knows the standard. Yes, this is being recorded. You could, I've all the Breakfast Club calls are recorded on my YouTube, so you can follow any of the Breakfast Club calls that we've done. I'll drop that in here as well too. So so when we do below the cloud on all the charts, that just giving you extra layers of resistance or extra layers of support. Okay, everybody already understands anytime the red line crosses under the blue line, that's a strong indication of a sell when it's below the cloud. Anytime the red line crosses above the blue line, above the cloud, strong indication of a buy. All right, that will be probably the time that you can really go into a buy and let it start really pushing down. But one of the major things I want you to recognize is that make sure price is below the Tungsten and the Kensington before you sell. Okay, same thing for buy. Make sure that price is above the Tungsten and the Kensington before you buy. Okay, because that's your layer of support. All right, let me answer some more questions here. Folks, you may have to enter, like I said, GU is not ready to be entered yet, and NZ is not ready to be entered yet. Oh, the thickness of the cloud. So yeah, momentum. And then as far as the thickness of the cloud, like I said, you seen the cloud got thinner here. It's because of the momentum going up. So it's likely anytime you see a lot of momentum, the reason why the cloud thins out is because of that momentum. And it's more likely that there's going to be a lot of momentum coming down. And when that momentum comes down, you see this in an engulfing candle, it basically told us that this was going to reverse down, bust through the cloud, this thin area here. Okay, so anytime the cloud gets really thin because of momentum, most likely there will be a break in the cloud. Okay, so that's what the thin cloud means. Momentum in the market. All right. What else do we have to talk about here? Money line gives you your target points. You know, of course, we're selling in this way, but let's say that this was pointed up. You can look at your targets this way. Let's say you were looking for take profit 1, 2, and 3. You go here, right? That would be 1. That'll be two. But basically, what we're looking at is turnaround areas. Okay, and then this will be our big one. Now I don't trade against the trend, so obviously we wouldn't do this, but that would be it right there. So that's how the money line works. Now you would obviously look left. So we're actually looking for a sell opportunity. So we actually look left and go find the same, what we did here, we'll go find on the left. I think let's check out EuroCAD real quick. $15-minute. All right, above the cloud. So automatically analyze it. Okay, above the cloud. Let's see. This might be, I think we looked at this already. Above the cloud. See the day chart? Not above the cloud. So we won't, so this still can be a shift down, right? So we're not gonna trade this because you don't know what's gonna happen here. It can actually push down, then you get stuck in a trade. So we're not gonna trade EuroCAD. Yes, here's the telegram right here. And here, let me go ahead and give you guys what we have on YouTube. So if you want to catch this recording, always upload all the breakfast. Oh, there we go. What do we got here? GBP USD. Let's go back real quick. All right, we got 15 seconds. We're gonna wait for the next candle. We're not missing out on anything. I promise you. Watch it pull right back on you every time. Okay. So we're gonna wait for this pullback. So remember, we went through the steps. If it doesn't pull back, then we'll call it. But most likely, we're gonna get a pullback here. All right. So we're looking for this. It's now below our cloud on our 15. Okay. So now we're looking for this correction real quick, and then we'll hop in for the trade for GU, and that'll be all our trades for the day. All right, looks like we are going to be, let me wait a little bit. We got 4 minutes. We ain't falling for it. Don't worry, it's going to pull back. All right, waiting for entry for GU. Yeah, NZD JPY is not ready yet. So there we go. It's always, so the fear of missing out is very hard, even for myself. I'll tell you, it's always rough. You know, most of the time it's easy to bite off right there because it looked like it's like a punk fake. It wants to get you. So we're going to give it some time. We got 3 minutes left. All right, there we go. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and buy GBP USD. I'm buying GBP USD. I'm sorry, selling. Not buying, selling. We're selling. Hopefully you guys already knew that. Selling GBP USD. All right, we're in the sale. So my entry point is 21492. We're already in the, well, was in the blue. It's going into the blue now. So my entry point is 1.214492. 10 pips from entry. So TP is going to be 1.21392. 1.21392. I like trading with y'all. Y'all get me paid. This is when I get to trade the most. All right. We're in the blue, folks. All right, so we got our trades in there. Sorry, go ahead and set your 10 pips for GU. And that one's rolling. AJ may keep us on a slow roll, but AJ will hit, so don't worry about it. You know, I haven't slept at all. I've been up since the London session. I'm on this London session sleep, so I'm gonna get about 4 hours in after this session here. All right, so that's the trades that we're gonna do right there, folks. So that's GU, we got AJ. I want you guys to take note of NZDJPY. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions. I got about 15 more minutes with you, so this will be our trades for this time. Which one? NZD is going to be the one that's going to give us look to get about 100 pips out of NZD when that time comes. If it comes, remember, we're not going to be proactive. We're going to wait. You got to wait for this, okay? So we're going to wait for this to happen. So we got about, it's 15 pips away. So it's about 15 pips away on the day chart before it breaks this. So wait for it to break on the day chart here. Once again, fear of missing out. Don't fall for it. Let it come down. It's always going to come back home to see if it wants to stay home or get back out. So it's going to break out. It's going to come home, retest. Then you can get in once that candle is confirmed and it's moving down. Okay. So that's for NZDJPY. And let's go for some quick questions real quick, and then we'll end this session. I'll make sure I drop my YouTube right before we end. All right. So we talked about the thin cloud already. Okay, what if all is above cloud for buy, but the strength meter is the opposite order? Great question, Wayman. So he said, wonder if we go check. Remember, it's our checklist, right? That's part of our checklist. We go check. By the way, folks, we're halfway to TP, so we were 5 pips in profit. So just keep watching. It should be hitting TP pretty soon. AJ is coming down, by the way, as well. Okay, so we're about to go in the blue for that one. Oh man, I love when I get off the session and we blue. It's always a good deal. All right. What was I just talking about here? I got excited about the blue on my phone here. Oh, strength meter, that's right. So what happens if Wyman asks, what happens if you go look at it and everything is above the cloud, but your strength meter is opposite? So let's talk about that. That means above the cloud, we're looking for a buy. So what that means is if we're looking for a buy, let's say it was USD JPY, for example, okay? If USD was weaker than JPY, okay, then we wouldn't go in for that buy because it doesn't make sense. And that's why this is a part of the checklist. This is our 5th confirmation that I added to it. So if you'll see in that sheet, it's our 5th confirmation. All right. So make sure that it makes sense. So you wouldn't take the trade. That's what you would do. You wouldn't take that trade at all until it changed up. That will keep you from a major pullback by checking that. All right, folks, we're in blue for all of our trades right now. So hopefully they close out before I even get off here. Go ahead and drop those ones in the chat. Actually, drop some sevens in the chat if you are in the blue. If you took those trades and you're in the blue, drop some sevens. Oh my goodness, look at that cascade. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All those sevens. That, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is I don't know if Dr. K is on here. This is I remember this moment being on the other end of this when we were just starting in this company. My mentor, Dr. Kathy Kirkland, same thing. Man, this is crazy. She was on Zoom and we're learning how to trade and she's teaching the cloud. And I'm confused. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm listening to everything that she's saying. And who would know that I would be on the other end teaching the same exact thing that she was teaching. Here we are 18 months later. And I'm telling you that story to say this. If you're confused right now, maybe you've been in for a while, maybe you've been trying to do this and you're getting frustrated. My wife can attest that there have been times I've been on my couch, broken and frustrated, wanting to quit because I just blew an account. Because I don't understand why other people are winning and I'm not winning. And you know what I realized? Just God was just telling me it wasn't my time at that time. That I still had more stuff to learn, that my journey was going to affect the lives of so many other people when I learned what I was going to need to learn. And today I've learned what I need to learn. I'm still learning. But what I'm telling you, whoever I'm talking to on here, you've blown some accounts and you're upset and there's something going on. Stay the course. This field, once you get this skill, it's game over. Like today, in my household, it doesn't, in IML, we got two parts. You can build the business, you can trade. I came in this company saying, I'm a build. Once again, that's not what God had for me at that moment. Okay. Because had I had it my way in my last company, I put in 35,000 customers. I thought I was going to transfer at least 10% of them. I would have been already chairman 100. But that wasn't for us at that time. We were supposed to learn how to trade. And in the hard times, folks, I'll tell you, you don't worry about nothing when you know how to trade. I don't care if that back office is rolling back. You don't care. Back office rolling back and my trades are going good. Doesn't matter. So learn this skill, because when you learn this skill, this is the part that is going to impact nations. When you step in countries like Kenya, when you step into South Africa, Botswana, Tanzania, Uganda, places where, the average income is like $200 a month, $500 a month. That's when you're purpose driven. That's when you're impacting folks. So I love what I do. Definitely everybody give a shout out to Dr. K. You have no idea the work that she put in, how much the lack of sleep she gets to do what she does. So I'm very grateful for teaching us this skill. So the best thing you can do is continually learn what we're doing. Please don't be just a professional trade taker. Oh, I'm doing all that talking. We hit TP. We hit TP. Boom. I love it. We just hit TP there. So just know your time is coming. We just got the best strategy in the company, folks. Listen to me. ECC 11 ain't playing no games. We are 100 proof right now. Do you realize we have been 100% over the past 6 weeks? Wonder if you could not fail. I always wonder if you could not fail your trades, what would you do? Because that's how I feel. We have not failed. It is time. We're about to create 5-figure traders, 6-figure traders, 7-figure traders. And all you have to do is stay the course. This is our time, folks. So let me give you my YouTube. We're going to go ahead and complete this call. I'm going to stop this recording here. Congrats. Go ahead and drop those 7 in the chat. If you definitely got your profit here, I'm stopping it right here. I'm going to drop my